Welcome to our channel, where we provide valuable tips and tutorials for Salesforce developers. In today's video, we will guide you through the process of setting up Visual Studio Code for Salesforce development and installing Salesforce extension pack. So let's get started. This tutorial is divided into 4 sections. Section 1, download and install Visual Studio Code. In this first section, I will walk you through the process of downloading and setting up Visual Studio Code. Once you have Visual Studio Code installed, you are ready to move on to the next step. Section 2, setting up Salesforce extension pack. In this section, we will talk about how to set up Salesforce extension pack in Visual Studio Code. After completion of this step, you are all set to start using Salesforce development within Visual Studio Code. Section 3, authenticating with Salesforce. I will demonstrate how to authenticate Salesforce from your machine in Visual Studio Code. And section 4, we will walk you through some of the examples. In this final sections, I will demonstrate how we can use this setup in our development process. This example will help you to understand the practical applications of integrating Salesforce with Postman. By following these steps, you will be able to successfully use Visual Studio Code in your development cycle. First step is to download and install Visual Studio Code, a lightweight, powerful code editor. If you are already not having in your system, you can find the installation package on the official website code.visualstudio.com. It will show you download button based on your operating system. Once you have downloaded the installer, run it and follow the on-screen instructions to complete the installation process. Once you have downloaded the Visual Studio Code, now let's move on to installing the Salesforce extension pack, which includes setting up of the extensions specifically designed for Salesforce development. To install the Salesforce extension pack, first you need to click on Salesforce extension icon on left sidebar or press Ctrl+Shift+X on Windows or Command+Shift+X to open up extension view. This is the extension view. In the extension view, search for Salesforce extension pack. There are two versions of Salesforce extension pack, Salesforce extension pack, Salesforce extension pack expanded. Let's first start with Salesforce extension pack. Once you click on it, it will open up Salesforce extension pack page, installation window. I already do have extension pack installed in my system, so I am seeing disable or uninstall button. You must see an install button. You can click on install. On installation, it will ask you to restart your Visual Studio Code. Don't be afraid to do it. You can restart your Visual Studio Code. Let me walk you through this extension pack. This extension pack is having further extensions to it. As the name suggests, pack, it is having total 9 extension. That is of Apex, Salesforce CLI integrations, Aura component, Visualforce, Lightning Web components, SQL, SLDS validator. So it is having these. Now you have installed Visual Studio Code, you have installed Salesforce extension package. I hope you have followed all the instructions while clicking on this install button. You will find out here. Now let's move on to setup up of your Salesforce. Let's close this out and let's come here. You will see currently there is nothing over here. So first of all, you do need to create a project. How to create a project? You do need to open up a command palette. How to open the command palette? For opening up the command palette in Windows, you have to press Ctrl+Shift+P, or in Mac, you have to press Command+Shift+P together. It will open up like this, a small prompt. Here, you have to type sfdx create project and click on it. It will ask you which type of project you want to create. For this tutorial, I am creating an empty project. Give a project name, SF Setup Demo. It will ask you for the location. I am choosing a desktop. Once you create the project, it will something look like this. Now you have created the project. Now the next task is to connect this project to our Salesforce org. For connecting to the Salesforce org, authorize an org. To authorizing an org, you have to again open up command palette by pressing Control Shift P in Windows or Command Shift P in Mac. Once you press it, you have to type SFDX, authorize an org. It will autocomplete by itself. You have to choose production versus sandbox versus your custom URL. If you are logging in into Trailhead Playground, you have to choose production or your own personal dev org. If you are logging in into your organization, sandbox or production, you have to choose it accordingly. I am logging in into the Trailhead Playground, so I am choosing production. You give the alias name for your org. I am giving Trailhead Playground. Once you do it, it will redirect you to the browser to logging in. It will ask you to log in with your credentials and enter your Salesforce credential and hit login. It asks you whether you want to allow the access for Salesforce CLI. You can allow this. Once you allow it, you are successfully logged in. And you can close this browser and navigate back to your Visual Studio Code. Once you are on Visual Studio Code, you will able to see now at the bottom left-hand side corner, you will able to see your org alias name is coming up, Trailhead Playground. So this is it. You have set up your Visual Studio Code with the Salesforce extension pack, and you have logged in into your Salesforce org, one of the Salesforce org. Similar process you have to follow. Authorize an org if you want to log into the other Salesforce org apart from this, and you can change the org by clicking on here. You can choose your default org and it will prompt up a different option. Now you have successfully set up a Visual Studio Code for Salesforce development and installed the Salesforce extension pack. Now let's make a quick look at some of the key features provided by this Salesforce extension pack. Salesforce DX. The Salesforce DX extension provides a set of commands and features for developing and deploying the Salesforce application. In the command palette that we were typing, SFDX, authorization, or create and project, all are the feature of Salesforce DX. Apex language support. This extension enhances the Apex language support in Visual Studio Code, providing features like syntax highlighting, code completion, and error checking. Salesforce CLI integration. The Salesforce CLI integration allows you to execute CLI commands directly from Visual Studio Code. The command we have seen that can be also executed with the help of Salesforce CLI. Salesforce Lightning Web Components. With this extension, you can develop Lightning Web Components, LWC, using Visual Studio Code, including features like code navigation and debugging. We learned about some of the key features of Salesforce extension pack. Let's see those features with the help of some examples. Very first example, how to execute a SOQL query from VS Code. Just open a new editor window, Command N or Control N to open up a new window. Here you can directly type a your SOQL query. I am typing for account, select ID, comma, name from account, let's say limit 1. Select this text, open up command palette, Control Shift P or Command Shift P. It will here, you can start typing SFDX and you will see execute SOQL query with current selected text. You will see this option, hit enter. You can select REST API since we are making a REST API call. It will take a while. And you see it queried the data from the Salesforce. ID, name. And if you want, you can change the limit to 2 and query it again. Let me clear this out. For clearing this output, you can press over here, clear this out. Again, select the text, open up a command palette, Control Shift P or Command Shift P. Now you will able to see that previously executed command into top. Execute SOQL query with currently selected text, select REST API, and it will hit Salesforce. it is querying data, and you see the result. Okay, so this is the first example. Now, no need to go to the developer console to making a SQL queries or even the workbench. Now, how to execute a small fragment of code which is equivalent to execute code from an anonymous window from developer console. How to do it? I am using the same editor which I have previously opened. Let's write a small fragment of code, string message equal to, let's say, hello world, and we will just simply print it system.debug, and we print our message. Before executing it, let's clear our output window. Steps remain same. Select this text, open a command palette, Control Shift P, Command Shift P. This time we will sfdx execute anonymous apex with currently selected text. Hit enter, and you see it executed our code, and it gives all the logs which we usually see while turning on the logs directly from the Salesforce. And this is our debug hello world. So this is the second use case, how you can use VS Code with the Salesforce extension pack and no need to go to Salesforce debugger console or developer console. Now let's see, start creating a Apex class, and we will deploy this Apex class to our org. Again, open up a command palette, and let me show you. Currently, we don't have any Apex classes in our session since we have created our empty project. You see here, and let's create a Apex class. Again, open up a command palette, srtx. If you are not able to see that option, just start typing create Apex class and it will come up, create Apex class. Give your class name. I'm giving sample Apex. Hit enter. Yes, I want to let it in the same directory classes. And it created a class for you. It created a constructor, it created a class with sharing, and you see on the left hand side, it created two files, meta.xml and .class. Let's clear this output and let me modify a little bit here. Let's write a method, public static void my, so that we can see this in action, my first method. I'm not giving any signature as of now. Let's print a simple print statement over here, system.debug hello world from my first method. Okay, that's it. You see a small dot over here. It means that this whatever you are writing, this is not saved. To save it, you have to Control S or Command S. Now it is saved. You see that dot is gone. Now you have completed with your development or with writing of the code. Now your second step is to deploy. How to deploy it? Come on the left hand side on the folder and on the file where this Apex class exists. Right click from your mouse and you will see a few options of SFDX deploy source to org. Click on this option. It will start deploying your source code to the org on this org, which we have authenticated previously in the previous step. If you didn't watch that step, I will recommend you to go to the step and watch how to authorize an org if you don't know. Now you see, it has deployed our Apex class to our org, which we have authorized, and to our default org. Now let's validate it. Again, I am going to my text editor, which I previously opened. I am writing a simple, I'm calling that method, sample apex.static method, my first method, and clear our output window, select this text, open a command palette, and execute anonymous apex with currently selected text. Let's see how it goes. Okay, Nice. We are seeing the output hello world from my first method. It means whatever we have done the changes, we have deployed it, deployment is successful since we are able to test it. Similar process you have to follow. Let's say I do want to change this method. Uh, just change the method from my first method. This is a change and save it. Control S or Command S. Same method, same step you have to follow for the deployment. Now this change is in your local. You have to deploy it. Right click here, SFDX, deploy source to org. It will deploy to your default selected org, whatever you have selected, and it is deployed. Now I want to test it again. Select the Apex you want to execute, open a command palette, select the command execute anonymous Apex with currently selected text, hit enter, and you will see hello world from my first method. This is a change. That's it for today's video on setting up Visual Studio Code for Salesforce development and installing the Salesforce extension pack. We hope you found this tutorial helpful. Now you are all set to start building amazing Salesforce applications using Visual Studio Code. If you have any questions or need further assistance, feel free to leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more Salesforce tips and tutorials. Thank you for watching. Happy coding.